Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Global here. Amazing night yesterday in association. Really felt like a '90s vibe between the Grizzlies and the Wolves. Most notably, first off, shout out to Ivanka Zubac notching his first career triple double. Uh, Zachariah Richie, first overall pick, getting his career high 38. Dude's really looking special out there. Reminds me a lot of old school Kevin Martin on the Kings. Um, but I want to talk about and then the Grizzlies and the Wolves look like a real '90s throwback kind of game. It was like the stars showed up, everyone played, and from Desmond Bain to Ja to Ant to Julius. I think Ant had something mid 40s. Julius dropped 30, 31, but he was also Swiss Army knife. There were some plays that he just ran that you're just like, that is the difference between Carl Towns and Julius Randle. That is what you paid for. That is what the big deal was about. Uh, my boy DiFincenzo, man, he was going through hell trying to keep up with Ja last night. Truly amazing guy. I mean, to watch play, and when he's hitting the three, even remotely respectable, there's nothing you can do with him. He can get whatever he wants out there, and you just gotta hope to combat it on the other end. So kudos to them. But I want to talk a little bit about this Luka thing, man. I'm just shocked and appalled. The revenge game. First of all, I don't think it was the most points. I think it was some guy from Milwaukee in the '70s, notched 54. But people calling it the greatest revenge game, and they're pumping this whole thing up. And I just find it truly remarkable because it's like, bro, what exactly is the problem here that people can't wrap their mind? I'll be honest with you, I was over it after Kristaps. And some now are reporting that the Mavericks are on top of the potential uh, teams that might go after Kevin Durant this offseason. Obviously, there's some history between Dallas and Phoenix having swapped Steve Nash, who eventually became a two-time MVP. I was doing my damnness to try to find any kind of, uh, you know, crowdsourcing in terms of what the ambiance was like in the NBA community around the time where Steve Nash left the Mavericks in free agency. Because one time he was traded, and another time he left in free agency, I think. And so the year that he went in free agency, then goes to Phoenix and becomes a two-time MVP. Not now, don't get it confused. Dallas did end up going far that year too. They also had a 50 and a 60 win season the same time when he was a two-time MVP. And ironically, when Steve Nash was in Dallas, he was teammates with now Vice President of Operations Michael Finley. So it really is a possibility that he could be a Maverick. And the thing is, Kevin Durant and Kyrie said they would, post Brooklyn trade, post Brooklyn, according to Scoop B. Jackson, an NBA member of the media, the first reporter back in the day, that they would love to reunite at some point down the line. Uh, Kyrie and KD are friends on a personal level. I never liked the pairing just for the simple fact that you played against each other in the finals. I think there should be some kind of level of decorum in terms of, again, goes back to that spirit of competition. Um, but I think enough time has passed now where it doesn't matter. I think that's why, essentially, I don't think uh, the Brooklyn Nets could ever have worked out, because it was like you guys were just playing against each other in the finals, like in recent memory. How are you going to sit up there and be on the same team now? Obviously, there was a little bit of a choppiness too between Kyrie and James Harden, who now looks phenomenal this year for the Clippers. Um, but you know, when it didn't work out with Kristaps, I was already over it, and I just don't understand. Like, it makes you really feel like sometimes this modern day sports is different from what I understood it to be, because like Why why are we in a place where we're more, I mean, not why, but it's really a narrative driven uh arena now in terms of media and sports. It's narrative driven, and obviously it's money driven, and the dollar is going to control everything. And this notion that the Mavericks are victims is more important than talking about the mere fact that time was up for Luka and Dallas. He did not conduct himself like a guy who wanted to be there his whole career. Wendy went off on this man in the finals. Go back and look up the tirade that he had standing on the court during the finals going off about Luka. Jaylen Brown locked him up, and there was so many people going off on Twitter about him getting locked up. So why are we now crying victim when people say, okay, you made your bed, it's time to move on? If anything, Nico Harris protected Luka, because if and when the Lakers get trounced out of the playoffs this year, you know it's coming. You know what they're going to say. And imagine, just imagine, let's just say hypothetically they are going to win. But imagine the Mavericks would have went to the finals again, which I don't believe they were. If you ask any athlete, two things. One, they're mourning the loss of when they've lost in the championship. Any sport, baseball, hockey, football, any sport. But now, let's take it a step further. Let's talk about what's the next grieving process in the 5 stages, 7 stages of grief. The questioning of whether you'll ever get there again. People swear they're going to get back there again. The Mavericks they were going to get back. Listen, you got in there on a fluke to begin with. That trade deadline move between P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford is the only reason why, and that was due to new ownership coming in and having the resources to be willing to go and spend the money, because they stacked their roster just like the Celtics. The Celtics ain't winning championships if they're not outspending everyone else. That's all it is. Like, it goes back to what I said. I don't understand why old boy in Boston, the former Brad Stevens, getting executive of the year. You just outspent everyone. There's not really that much drafting going on. I mean, he might have gotten Peyton Pritchard. You traded for Derek White from the Spurs and Sam Hauser. That's your claim to fame then. But in terms of the construct, you already had Jaylen Brown. You already had Jason Tatum because of Danny Ainge. The kingpin, excuse me. He's a kingpin. That man literally shakes down everyone he does a deal with. Him, Masai Ujiri, certain guys, I don't know why they even pick up the call. You know, if they call and they're coming to fleece you. They're not here to do a fair trade. They're here to take everything from you. And they made the trade. And I just find it astonishing, like, that, people don't understand. But let's just go with the notion that the Dallas Mavericks were not going to the finals. What if they got trounced? Mind you, right now, the West is decided by half a game. Half a game to one game. 1 through 8 is being decided right now. 2 through 8 is being still determined. And we're at the doorstep of the playoffs. There's like 2 or 3 games left. Let's just say Dallas is one of those victims that ended up falling up short from expectations in the first or second. What do you think was going to happen this year? What do you think was going to happen? What do you like if they did that to them when they made it to the finals last year? What do you think's going to happen if they didn't get back there again? The only mistake Nico Harris made, he should have saved this trade for the offseason. He did the Lakers a solid. Because a lot of legacies would have been hurt. The Lakers would have been hurt if they didn't get to the finals. The Mavericks and Luka, and there's obviously big money behind these entities. So of course they're going to sit up there and we're going to make a fresh trade. Now that buys us new time. Let's just call a spade a spade. It doesn't matter. None of people see my page anyway. Who cares? Let's just call a spade a spade. You just bought more time with this trade. Because honestly, I don't even know. I think the Lakers were better with Anthony Davis and Finney-Smith. After all they needed was Finney-Smith to come back healthy. And they were ready to make a push to the championship. They probably were going to get another ring. And we'll test all of this out. The Lakers were better before the trade. But now you got obviously the Jordan brand, Luka, LeBron next to each other. That's what ignited this whole LeBron versus Luka, LeBron versus MJ for 3 4 weeks. Completely obliterated quality media coverage and drowned out real basketball heads for the casuals who just want to keep talking about Jordan Braun, Jordan Braun. But it's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? That you're just watching this and it's like the guy who's being made look to be the enemy is actually the good. It's like having a good chaperone or a good guardian trying to provide you with real guidance, and you hate them, but then you get older and you realize, damn, they were right about a lot of things. He got that boy Luka up out of the fire before it burnt down, and people are mad because he didn't allow him to stay to go pick up his cat, to go save his favorite painting. Okay, I guess it's not as sexy as the narrative of poor us and you took our Kobe and da da da. But he was never a Dirk Nowitzki lifer type. When they gotta beg you to get in shape, when they gotta beg you to present well after the finals win by not promoting alcohol beverages, especially ones that are not of the team sponsors, when they gotta beg you to play defense, when they keep trying to flip different variations of the roster over and over again to accommodate you, what do you think eventually needs to happen? Maybe it's the source. One thing when Dennis Smith Jr., okay, they try to make it seem like Dennis Smith didn't have a problem with Luka, he had a problem with Rick Carlisle. And I'm sure Rick Carlisle may have rubbed him the wrong way. But any player that thinks they're bigger than the team, even if they fire the coach, your ass still on the spotlight. It doesn't save you. And then you go on to Brooklyn, and then Kevin Ali gets his first win after like 30 games of straight losing, and you have a fit because you didn't get on the court. So now it reopens all the questions again, and now you're not in the league. So you can get mad at me for what I have to say, but you're not even in the league anymore. He's not even in the league right now, but he can fully play. He's one of the best on-ball defenders. Because I got some backlash after the Brooklyn situation, but nobody's saying right. You see his other counterpart. Oh boy, is signed to Philly, ready for next year. Even former Laker. What's his name? He was a Spur before that. Lonnie Walker. Why Lonnie on the roster but not him then? That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. So then fast forward, you had Brunson and KP. I know Brunson want to go play the fan, and I know what the Knicks are doing. It's a family matter. Brunson's dad was a Knick. Brunson's dad had relationships with the previous Dolan, the original OG senior Dolan, who stood by his side and all that back in the day, despite his case and all that. But if I'm Jalen Brunson, I got a chance to be next. LeBron Green was okay with playing next to Luka. He's good enough for Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, now I'm going to go to New York and be the king of New York. Win, lose, or draw on a championship. Rather than this global icon. That means something to me. There's smoke there. I don't care what nobody say. Porzingis is caught standing in the corner. How you can't blend with a 7'3" big who can rim protect? That's the easy. Porzingis can't. Listen, man. And everyone swears that I'm some kind of like, oh, I'm some big time Kristaps Porzingis fan. No, bro. It's just how can you not make it work with a guy who's 7'3", can shoot threes, the coolest dude in the whole world, chill as fuck. You can't and it didn't work out with him either. After that, I'm like, I'm over it. Carlisle gone. Kid is there. Like, I start looking at the situation. I'm like, okay, but Dallas hasn't won a championship since Carlisle. Carlisle's in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Carlisle is steadily improving, and everywhere he's been, he's made it better. So maybe the delivery was a little off, but it doesn't mean he wasn't speaking gospel, right? I'm watching the situation, and so I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, how many different variations of a roster are you gonna try to make it work before you go? Maybe it's we just don't have the kind of star we think we have now. Obviously, LA is a different type of don't get me wrong. The Mavs are prestigious. They're elite, and they hold one of the greatest championships ever won. But let's be real here. Let's keep it a bean all the way. You look at The Lakers, they got extra resources. It's not like he's gonna go there and be sorry. They're gonna make sure he eats, whether they go get Bonchero, somebody or Jokic. Some are saying because of the Mike Malone firing, now this opens up the opportunity to go land Jokic in the offseason because Jokic wasn't fond of Malone. But they're going to make sure that they're going to prop him up, no question. But it's just, to me, it's hilarious because I'm watching this whole charade, and I'm like, y'all, the Gatorade commercial with the towel, and it spells Trader on it, and it's like, Trader, he saved you, because if you came up short again in Dallas, now you're not even going to be really marketable anymore. That's it for you. You don't win the championship this year. It's like, okay, professional stat patter, just the guy who gets a lot of stats. When is he? Where's the championship coming? When is the chips coming? You know what I'm saying? That's what the next question becomes. And it wasn't going to happen in Dallas. They did everything they could. The Gafford, the Lively. How many teams can you say has two big men in the paint who are capable of grabbing 10 boards and 2+ blocks a game? PJ Washington. Charlotte just gave it away. You look at how many players Charlotte keeps giving away. They damn near could have had that. You wonder why they don't have a championship. So I'm watching the situation and I'm just like amazed. It's 2 days trending topic, revenge game. What revenge? You fouled them. If my partner leaves me and they get in shape and they get their life together, that's my confirmation it was never meant to be. I'm not sitting there stressing if they left me. I'm gonna be like, damn, you got in shape that quick? Oh, all of a sudden you playing defense now? Oh, then then that is the further confirmation that you were not meant for me. If I'm Dallas, what y'all crying about? I gotta beg this person to get in shape, but all of a sudden they leave the team and now they slim. That's no, bro. We keep it player. I see you in shape now. You wasn't in shape with me. It must have been me. You must have not been inspired. Bro thought he was bigger than the program. The end. I'll try to do better next time. Utopians Global. Out.